everyone eyes up so I can do this. I'm going to be doing a lesson on surrealism with you all today. It's going to be short, it's just going to be for today, but again, I need participation, I need everyone to pay attention and interact during this, and it'll be a really, pretty easy day. So, can we start off? Can someone please read the learning target to the class? Yep.
I can create a self-portrait using surrealist elements and personal.
Thank you. And now everyone got an opener sheet. Take a few minutes to answer the questions on there. I'm going to say 5-ish minutes. All right, take about 1 more minute to wrap up your thoughts. So everyone should have written something down. Even if you don't really know what surrealism is, make a few educated guesses. And can someone please read to me the definition they wrote for surrealism? All right, can anyone list out any elements they could have come up with? Uncanny is a good example, and you said something like crazy and unique. The definition of surrealism is also on your little keyword sheet in case you need it, but the beginning of the word sur means beyond, and it adds on to realism, so it basically just means beyond realism. It's an art style that takes unique ideas and images and combines them in a strange way. Good ways to describe it are very unreal, dreamlike, or impossible. For some context, prior to the surrealism movement, art focused mainly on things like impressionism, realism, and neoclassicism, which focus more on things you can see in front of you. A lot of realism work, a lot of photorealistic work. But post-World War I, a lot of artists and a lot of everyone were severely traumatized by the effects of war. And one way artists worked through their trauma was through their work, of course. And it started with something called the Dada movement, which is kind of thought of surrealism's origins. It was seen as anti-art. It went against a lot of the expectations set of art previously with other movements like realism. And it just tried to work against all those rules that felt like they were set. Dada art had a more negative focus, while surrealism went, after it grew off of it, it tried to take a slightly more positive approach on things. For the movement goals, it wanted to revolutionize the human experience by challenging views on artists and artwork and overthrowing rules they thought were previously set upon artists. It wanted to unveil the human imagination by expressing more complex parts of the human mind, oftentimes in ways that were seen as gruesome or grotesque, and it had a heavy use of something called automationism. Here's some keywords. A lot of elements of it and things to keep in mind while viewing surrealism work and while making it yourself. Automatism is actions taken without much thought or intention, so kind of just letting your hand guide you while you work. Symbols, hidden messages within the piece that tell a story. Collage, layering images on top of each other. Contrast, using shadows, light, and dark and size to add distinction to figures. Juxtaposition is something used really commonly in a lot of surrealism artwork, placing two objects really close or really on top of each other to create a contrast between the objects. Scale, just changing the size of things depending on their surrounding. Repetition is reusing objects to create patterns or unities. Metamorphosize is something I like to call shape-shifting art. It's a state of movement or change within the piece. And impossible actions is also a very important aspect of surrealism. It's things you could not see in real life. If you took a photograph of it, you would not be able to recreate it without heavy modification. Some examples of surrealist artists, of course, there's a very well-known Salvador Dali. He uses a lot of repetition, seen a lot of clock imagery. He has a lot of contrast in his work. He has a lot of blank space that also draws attention to the main focal points. Dorothy Tanning is another example. She does a lot more full figures in her work. She adds contrast by having a lot of her figures very light and in the front, and a lot of her backgrounds more dark. A lot of full sceneries with things kind of imposed over top. And then Francis Bacon, who I actually have two slides of up here because I think his work is really important for what we're doing today. He focuses a lot more on the human face, and the top image with the pink background and the bottom right image are actually self-portraits done by him. So he has a lot of, it's recognizable as the human face, but there are certain things about it that have definitely been warped or changed into a gruesome or grotesque way. That painting is of the Pope, fun fact, but I wanted to show him off a little bit more than the other artists because he does do a lot more full body human focus instead of, or not full body, facial human focus instead of full body or more scenery related stuff. And then I also wanted to provide you all a modern example because a lot of those artists were from early 19s. So here's something about modern street art and modern surrealism, stuff you could find if you went pretty much anywhere. Looked on the side of trains. They have a lot of really good surrealism art on them. And I wanted to keep that short because I want to give you all plenty of time to do our little activity. You're going, with the little square piece of the paper I gave you, you're going to be creating your own self-portraits using surrealism. And so with the paper I gave you all that has the cheat sheet, I want you to try and incorporate at least 3 elements. And I want you to include personal things in your piece, so things that relate to you and your identity. So if you play sports a lot, try to figure out how to incorporate that. If you really like space, you can put a galaxy in there. If you like animals, put animals in there. Just something that relates back to you as a person that makes you unique in your identity, what makes you. You can be as creative as you like. This is surrealism. You're allowed to get weird. But yeah, 3, or preferably more, but at the bare minimum, try to get 3 elements of the keywords that I gave you the sheet of, and we're gonna work through that. You're smart for that. Good job. Now I'm gonna come around and take the pink sheet from you all. Oh, that's really cute. I love that.
No, right. Okay, if I draw it in my own art.
Yeah, that's the point. The point is to be just as like loose as you can. There's really no limitations or like restrictions to surrealism. So whatever you want to put to paper, that's what you gotta do. Yeah. Do you want me to pull back up the examples up there? Yeah. You should just have some fun, add some fun color to it. The best part about surrealism is there's literally nothing wrong. Any color, any shape, it's all perfect. Yes, you should color it. And as you know, there's gray, so any color works. All right, we're not wrapping up just yet, but we're gonna start wrapping up here in like 5-10-ish minutes. So if you don't already, if you haven't already started putting color down, I think you start now. Really laid back, like it says, automatism. Just letting your hand guide you, let you figure out what you want to do. All right, we got about 10 minutes left. So real quick, I want to direct everyone back up to the screen. There is a little closing questionnaire I want you all to do. It's just a QR code, scan it real quick. It's like 4 or 5 questions, really simple. Just kind of like a self-reflection piece. It is also, can you scan it again? Let me see what happens so I can see if I can figure out what's wrong.
I brought you to use like a school account.
Yeah, it should be open. If it's not working, try and make sure you're logged in and scanning with a JCTC account. JCTC? What? Sorry. Your school account. Make sure you're logging in with your school account. Just leave those there for right now. Everyone make sure you have your name on the back of your paper, or your little self-portrait. I will be collecting them today, but the goal is I'm gonna get them all photocopied so I can have the copied edition, and then you all will get your originals back, because I don't really like taking artwork from students. So I'll just be holding on to them for a few days, and then they'll come back to you. I'll bring my pencil back up. You can just leave them stacked right now. I'll come back around and collect them in a minute. I'm just making sure you all have time to fill out the forms and everything. Use your pieces as reference. Thank you all. Thank you so much for participating with me today.
Honestly, we haven't wrapped up.
Because wrapping them up, bro, it's hard to write. It's so hard.
Thank you for participating with me today.
Everybody get a QR code?
Thank you all for participating with me. Thank you. All right, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
That's kind of where I'm done. Well,